Good morning, grade 7s, and welcome to your mathematics lesson brought to you by WorksheetCloud. I hope you guys are super well and are looking forward to another week of online learning. Thought I'd chat to you quickly about the situation we find ourselves in. So the boys that I'm teaching online, a lot of them have been quite frustrated and angry and getting upset about the current situation. A lot of them are upset because they're missing out on school, missing out on sports, missing out on seeing their friends. And I've encouraged them to focus and use their energy on things that they can control. So we cannot control the rules and regulations that we have to follow. We cannot control the fact that we can't go to school or can't partake in any extracurricular activities that I'm sure so many of you love. So I would encourage you to focus on things that you can control. Okay. So an example there would be always moaning about the weather or complaining about the weather. You can complain about the weather as much as you want, but it's not going to change the weather. If you're a sportsman or sportswoman, you might complain about refereeing decisions, and that doesn't change either. So you're wasting your energy on complaining and focusing on things that you have no control over. So I'd encourage you to rather focus your energy on things that you can control. So you can control what time you wake up. You can control the quality of the work you're doing if you're doing online learning or if you're doing these lessons that we're providing for you. You can control the quality of the relationships with those people who are living with you or close to you. And you can control the contribution you make to your household. So I encourage you to focus on those controllables instead of things that you cannot change. And hopefully that will give you a little bit more energy and a little bit more positivity moving forward. It's also useful to be grateful each day for something different. It could be the socks on your feet, the duvet on your bed, the milk in your coffee, or simply just a warm meal. And I would encourage you there to think about not having those things that you're grateful for. And again, that should help you focus on the positive things that you have in your life. So that's my message for you this morning. I hope you guys continue to take part in the lessons that we're providing for you and continue to take advantage of these opportunities to improve your academics. Grade 7s, just a reminder of the email address on your screen, grade7@worksheetcloud.com. Please feel free to send me any messages or requests, and I'll be happy to answer them moving forward. Okay, today we're going to have a look at perimeter. And this is something you would have covered in grade 4, 5, 6, so it's a little bit of a recap. And then on either side of that, you've got your warm-ups, mental questions, and challenges. So here is your warm-up activity for today. You need to find the value of the cupcake, piece of cake, strawberry, and then the pink question mark at the end. Press pause, give it a shot, and then press play to see how you got on. Okay, so let's have a look at how we got on here. I would start at the second line, and I know that 8 times 8 is 64, so 32 times 2 is going to equal 8 times 8. Okay. I'm then going to fill in the other answers I know. I worked out that the cupcake was 4 and the piece of cake was 2. So therefore the strawberry remains 32, and 32 divided by 4 is equal to 8. Now I know that the cupcake is 4, and that is going to be equal to 4, and divide that by 1. So anything divided by 1 is equal to itself. Then I know that 2 is equal to 2 multiplied by 1. Okay. And then my answer at the bottom is 32 divided by 4. Multiply that by 2. And order of operations tells me to do 32 divided by 4 first. And that's going to give me 8. And 8 multiplied by 2 is equal to 16. Okay, well done if you work through that. next is our mental maths. And they're the questions for you, and I'll enlarge the screen. So go read through those questions, answer them, check your work, and then press play to see how you got on. Guys, let's see how we got on with those. So if a bus leaves its station at 20 to 9 in the morning and arrives at its destination at noon, how long does the journey take? So I'm going to add 20 minutes to get to the next hour, which will be 9 a.m. And then from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m. is 3 hours. So my journey was 3 hours and 20 minutes. 2, the mass of fruit in a tin is 425 grams. Find in kilograms and grams the mass of fruit in 9 tins. So I'm doing 425 multiplied by 9. And here I would say 400 multiplied by 9 is 3,600. And I know that because 4 multiplied by 9 is 36. And then I can work out 25 multiplied by 9. And I know 25 multiplied by 8 is 200. So multiplied by 9 is 225. And then I need to add 3,600 and 225. And that gives me 3,825 grams. But they want to know the answer in kilograms and grams. So that's going to be 3 kilograms and 825 grams. Okay, so there we just need to read the question carefully and make sure we know what they want the answer to be given in. Question 3, the price of butter in 1986 was 10 Rand 90. It's really cheap because I think these days it's about 50, 60 Rand. And that was for 500 grams. It increased to 11 Rand 40 in 1987 per 500 grams. How much extra is paid for 6 kilograms? So first I'm going to work out how much it increased by, and that was 50 cents. Okay, so it's 50 cents per 500 grams, so therefore 1 Rand per kilogram. Okay, and it's 6 kilograms, so it's 6 Rand. That's how much extra you need to pay for 6 kilograms. Okay, that's question number 3. Question number 4, just a fraction question. So I'm going to convert to improper fractions first. So 2 1/3 is 7 over 3. 2 times 3 plus 1 times 1 4/5 is 9 over 5. And then we'll add the 3/4. And my order of operations tells me to do multiply first. So I can cross cancel to make it a bit easier for myself. 3 goes into 3 once and into 9 3 times. So 7 times 3 is 21. And 1 times 5 is 5. And then I need to add the 3/4. I now need to find the lowest common denominator of 5 and 4. And that's 20. So 5 goes into 24 times. 4 times 21 is 84. 4 goes into 25 times. 5 times 3 is 15. And that's going to give me 99 over 20. And you can convert that to a mixed number. And that's going to be 4 and 19 over 20. Okay. So that's just a little fraction revision question for you. And your last one is a long division question. And we've been looking at these quite a bit. So I'm hoping that you guys are now grasping this concept pretty well. So if I've got 872, first I'll multiply 18 by 10. And that will give me 180. Okay, so that's quite far away. 20 multiplied by 18 is 360. Just draw a line there. Okay, and that's also quite far away, so I can double that to 40. And I double 360 to 720. Okay. And I'm also going to say 5 multiplied by 18 is equal to 90. Okay, so now if I add 720 and 90, I'm going to get 810. Okay, and that leaves me with 62 left. So all I really need to do is figure out how many times 18 goes into 62, and that's 3 times. So 18 multiplied by 3 is going to give me 54. Okay, so I need to put 40 times 18, 5 times 18, and 3 times 18 together, and that's going to give me 48. Okay, the 8, 10, and the 54 are going to give me 864. And then I just need to recognize that there's a remainder of 8, because from 864 to 872 is 8. So my answer is 48, remainder 8. Okay. So yeah, there again, I've just multiplied by friendly numbers and used those answers to find out how many times 18 goes into 872. Yeah, I'd encourage you guys to have a look at this method and keep trying to practice it until you get it right. Okay, great. Have a look at our main theme for today, which is perimeter. And I'm sure you know that to find the perimeter of a shape, we add together the length of all the sides. All right, so if I asked you what is the perimeter of the shape on your screen, then you can choose a vertex or a corner to start from, but I would encourage you to mark off the sides that you're adding together while you're moving around the shape, so that you don't miss out a side or you don't count a side twice. Okay, this is really helpful when you've got compound shapes. So the shape on your screen now is a compound shape, so it's not regular, and it's got multiple sides that perhaps you need to work out the lengths of. So yeah, use that strategy. And once you've added up all those different sides, you should be able to get the perimeter of 12 centimeters. Okay, so the important thing to notice there is to use a unit of measurement that they give you. The perimeter of a rectangle, you have a formula, okay, and your formula for perimeter of a rectangle, we use L for length and W for width, and some people like to use breadth, so they might use B for breadth. And your perimeter is simply length plus width plus length plus width, or length plus width plus width. It doesn't matter what order you add in, you still get the same answer. You can also write that as 2 times length plus 2 times width, or 2 times breadth. Okay, so that would be your formula for working out the perimeter of a rectangle moving forward. Alternatively, you can have 2 multiplied by length plus width. Okay, so you've got a couple options there for you, but yeah, it's just handy to know the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle. So here's an example for you. What is the perimeter of the tennis court? Okay, and I'll give you a couple seconds to go and figure that out. I've given you the length of 24 meters and the width of 11. So if we stick to our formula, we've added the length 24 and the width 11, and we've multiplied that by 2, and that will give us 35 times 2, which is 70 meters. And again, notice the unit of measurement is included in the answer. Sometimes we're not given the lengths of all the sides, and we have to work them out using the information given. So for example, if I asked you what was the perimeter of that shape, you can see that the length of the bottom side and one of the sides on the right have not been given. So in total there's 6 sides there, but we've only got 4 lengths given. So we need to go work out the lengths of the 2 sides that are not given before we work out the perimeter. So how do we work out the lengths of those sides? So if we call the lengths A and B, so we have A centimeters and B centimeters, you need to have a look at the information that's been given to you already. So on the left-hand side, you've got 12 centimeters. That's the vertical side. And on the right-hand side, you've got 5 centimeters. So what do I need to add to that 5 to get the 12 centimeters on the left-hand side? And quite correct, 12 minus 5 is 7. Okay, so A is going to equal 7 centimeters. And then B, we need to look at the top length, which is 9. And you can see on the right-hand side, there's the length of a side, which is 4 centimeters. So B would have to say 9 minus that 4, and that would give us 5 centimeters. And now B is 5 centimeters. So that's quite a common question. And that's just to determine if you can understand that you need to work out the lengths of the missing sides before you work out the perimeter. And can you use the information given to work out the lengths of the missing sides? And then it's just a case of adding up 9, 5, 4, 7, 5, and 12. And again, I'd encourage you to mark off those sides that you've added up so you don't add them twice or you don't miss out any sides. And that will give you 42 centimeters. And again, notice the unit of measurement, centimeters, is included in the answer. Okay, so here's a more challenging one. And I'm going to let you work this one out by yourself. So press pause. Work it out, and then press play to see how you got on. The first place I would start is P, and if you locate P on the left, the top left of the diagram, you can see that it's opposite 2 centimeters on the right hand side, so P will equal 2 centimeters. Q and R will be equal, okay, and they will be equal to 1.5 centimeters, okay. S is going to be equal to 6 centimeters, and you can see that it's opposite the side that has a length of 6 centimeters. Okay. T on the bottom left is going to be 2 centimeters. If you looked, it's a rectangle, so opposite sides in a rectangle are equal. Okay. And then U is going to be 10 centimeters, and you can deduce that from looking at the 4 centimeters, 2 centimeters, and 4 centimeters opposite U in the bottom rectangle. Right, then all I need to do is add up the lengths of the sides, and in a shape like this, I really encourage you to mark off the sides when you add them up. It's very easy to leave out a Q or an R or maybe even P or T. Okay, so once you add up those sides, you get 46 centimeters, and yeah, that's one of the ways of, or that's the way you work out perimeter with side lengths that are missing. Okay, so here we have the perimeter of a regular hexagon. So remember, 6 sides, and sorry, it's not regular, it's irregular, and it's irregular because not all the sides are equal. So the equal sides are indicated by the single dash. So each side with one dash in it's 4 centimeters long. And then the sides with 2 dashes in it must be 5 centimeters. So now you just need to assign 4 centimeters to the relevant sides and 5 centimeters to its opposite side. Add up the lengths, and you should get 26 centimeters. Okay. So there you just need to be aware of what those dashes in the lines mean. Okay, so this is a bit more of a complex shape. So here I'm going to let you work through this by yourself, and let's see how you get on. Start by finding the lengths of all the sides, and you'll notice that there are 3 sides that are missing there. So those bottom 2 sides of 1 meter you can work out by looking at the total height of the entire shape, which on the left hand side is indicated by the dashed arrow of 5 meters, and then you can see the height of the triangle is 4, so 5 minus 4 is 1, and then the right hand side of the triangle is 4.5 meters based on the left hand side, and then it's just a case of adding up those lengths and you'll get 17 meters. Okay, so that's working out the perimeter of a shape like that. Here, what you can notice here is there's 3 measurements that are in meters and 1 measurement that's in centimeters. So first thing you'd need to do is convert all of those measurements to the same unit, so all meters or all centimeters. Okay, so we would convert them, and here we convert to centimeters, and those are the lengths converted to centimeters. and we've converted to centimeters purely to avoid having to work with decimals. We can add up all those lengths and we get 986 centimeters. And now you know there's 100 centimeters in a meter. So, sorry, I'll go back there. If you convert that to meters, you'll get 9 meters and 86 centimeters, or 9,86 meters. Okay, either answer will be correct. And sometimes just read the question carefully. We'll always read the question carefully, but sometimes I'll actually say to you, convert to centimeters or convert to meters. But if they don't, you need to convert to a unit that you feel comfortable working with. Here's some practice for you to do while we go through the lesson. So work out the perimeter of the shape in front of you, all the units, and while I'm talking to you, work it out. All the units are the same. Make sure you mark off the lengths of the sides that you're adding up. And once you add 10, 8, and 6, then yes, you get 24 centimeters. Your second one, use the information provided. There might be some information there that you don't need, and you would be quite correct in adding 10, 10, and 16. And that's going to give you 36. So the 6 centimeters there would have given you the height of the triangle, but we don't use that yet. That we're going to use in a couple of lessons time when we work out area of a triangle. So use the relevant information that's given to you to work out the perimeter. Here you've got missing sides and it's a parallelogram, so you need to know the characteristics of a parallelogram. And yes, the opposite sides are equal, as are the opposite angles, but when working out the perimeter, we just need the side lengths. And again, they've thrown in 4 centimeters there to see if you understand what information to use. And there you could have just said 5 plus 10 is 15, and then multiplied it by 2 to get to 30. This compound shape, you've got all the sides available to you. And again here, I'd advise you or suggest that you mark off the sides that you've added up, and either always go clockwise or always go anti-clockwise. So find out what strategies you want to use. Find out if you want to draw around the shape while you're marking off the sides. Find out if you just want to cross off the sides when you count them. Find out if you want to go clockwise or anti-clockwise. But I'd encourage you to always do the same procedure when you work out the perimeter of the shape. So it's always the same, because if you change procedures from shape to shape, it's highly likely that you could make a careless error. So now you should have added all those sides up while I was talking, and that would give you 38 centimeters. Here you've got a couple of sides that are missing, as well as different units of measurement. So you need to figure out, are you going to convert all of them to meters, or are you going to convert them to centimeters? Do whatever you feel comfortable with. Work out the length of the missing sides. And there I've converted them all to meters. And then when you add them up, you'll get 7 meters. If you had converted them to centimeters, you would have got 700 centimeters. And we know that 700 centimeters equals 7 meters. Okay, use the relevant information. So you don't really need to use the 8 centimeters. I'm pretty sure you figured that out by now. You've got one side length missing, which is 12 centimeters, and then add those up and you'll get a total of 56 centimeters. And again, use relevant information. Notice that there's one side length that is missing, and then add up the length of the sides once you figured out that missing side. And yes, you'll get 22 centimeters, and the 3 centimeters is not needed for perimeter. And that's perimeter, guys. It doesn't really get more complicated than that. I suppose the most difficult part is finding the length of the missing sides, and then making sure that all the units of measurement are the same. Here is your 24 challenge and finisher for today. By now I'm sure you know that you've got to use each of the numbers on each card and a combination of the operational signs to get to the answer of 24. And then remember to see if there's a number of different ways to get to the answer of 24. Grade 7s, thanks for watching today. Remember to email me on grade7@worksheetcloud.com if you got any questions. Have a look at your online activity with Memo today just to consolidate and practice the idea of perimeter. Remember the message I gave you at the beginning of the lesson. Focus on the things that you can control in your life and don't worry about everything else that's happening on the outside. Have a really cool day and all the best. Cheers.